Yes, yes, yes. A very warm welcome to another episode of Fauza's Diary. If you are looking for something little and yet inspiring, then you have stumbled upon the right show. That's the beauty about my diaries. They inspire us, they encourage us, but also they make us think. Joining me today on this special edition is a very young lady who I was very blessed to share the stage with her. We were both speakers on a recent ended event. She's young, she's full of compassion, love, kindness, you name it, she's got it. And I'm so humbled that she is the youngest person I've had so far on Fauza's Diary. And I am just so blessed that she actually said yes, and her parents said yes to having this conversation with me on Fauza's Diary. So welcome, Miss Isabel Fayed. Thank you so much for saying yes to having this conversation with me. Please take a little bit of maybe a minute or so to introduce yourself, because I love when my guests, they do that, because that's when the people who are watching us will get to really get to know you better. Isabel, welcome to Fauza's Diary.
Hey, hi everyone. Thank you so much, Fauza, for having me here today. We were really grateful actually for the opportunity when you gave us that invitation for this recording today. And so as a short introduction to myself, my name is Izabella Lebig. I'm currently 12 years old, will be turning 13 in the coming months around July. I'm an author of the Alex Haley's book 1 and 2, but I'm also an international speaker at an authors forum, and I'm a Toastmaster, but more importantly, I'm a grade 8 student in Cambridge International School, Dubai. Yeah.
Wow, Isabel, you know, I remember when you had to go on stage first to speak, and before it was my turn, and your energy, I looked at you and I could just see, and I could just feel that really you have been called to inspire your generation on such a time, Isabel. And I want us to go a little bit. For your age, you've said you are 12, you'll be turning 13 soon. You are young, but you are so devoted in impacting lives. What led you into this journey, Isabel, for your age?
Well, I may be young, but my family and I have always practiced and made sure that every time we receive blessings in life, we give back to the community, because we truly believe that, giving back is for all ages, right? And giving back is a message to the universe that you are grateful for everything that you've received and everything you've been granted. So, this is kind of why I always want to make sure every time something special in my life happens, I give back to the community in any way I could.
That's so beautiful. So you live here in Dubai.
Yeah.
But most of the things that you do, it's actually also back in the Philippines.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
Oh, well, some of the donations I've made back in Philippines were, the first one is the Friends of Kids with Cancer Foundation. My most recent donation to the Friends of Kids with Cancer Foundation was during the release of the first book around the same time as the pandemic. But Friends of Kids with Cancer Foundation was the kind of organization that I've been supporting for most of my life now. And so I just wanted to make sure that I continue supporting that particular foundation to, do my part in trying to help those kids battle that kind of disease. And another project that I'll be covering also back in Philippines is Bukhanan Integrated School. In Bukhanan Integrated School, we'll be developing a reading center for some of the kids of farmers there who were struggling to learn how to read. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And for someone who is listening, someone who is watching us right now, Isabel, what would you want them to, to know, or how even best, how can they be involved in what you do?
Well, this is something that I really want to make sure that I mention to any of my readers or anyone who would like to support these charities.
Mm-hmm.
Well, honestly, all you have to do is, in some way, when you support when you buy my books, and you don't only support my dream, you kind of work alongside me to help me support these other many children and many other lives that I hope to impact in my own little way. The Friends of Kids with Cancer and the reading center in Bukana Integrated School.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about your book, Isabel.
Yeah.
What inspired you? And what's your story? What's your story like? What led you into writing?
Oh, well, funny story. This whole writing journey kind of started when I was around 5 or younger. Well, nowadays my parents would often tell me that when I was 5 or younger, I would always be found staring into space a lot, getting lost in kind of this wild and vast and wild and entirely different reality taking place in my mind. I could be sitting anywhere and staring into space, thinking of some other thing going on in that universe. So, this kind of tendency to space out had reached a point where the people around me had grown concerned, right? Because I was always distracted and spacing out during class. And so this had reached a point where some had suggested I go for a checkup. Maybe this could be an issue, something like that. But, my parents wouldn't take this kind of opinion from the others around me. And so to resolve this, they tried to find ways into allowing me to kind of release these thoughts, and kind of channel my imagination. And one of these ways was through short story writing. But then again, I was only 5 at the time, so my mom had tried to find ways to make it fun for me. And one of these ways was through these colorful notebooks that carried not only space for me to channel my imagination, but tips on how to pin my thoughts and ideas properly. She'd also bring me to this coffee shop every weekend to write with my favorite chocolate cake on the side. And, I just sit there and continue writing over the weekend. And, we kind of just repetitively did this, slowly building up my writing skills and helping me focus over time. But then as I continued to do this, I began to realize that, maybe writing is more than just a channel for me, right, to vent. It might actually, I realized it might actually be something that I could connect with, that I could truly be myself through writing. And so it was around that point that I began to aspire to be a writer. Yeah.
Wow. That is so beautiful, Isabel. It's amazing that even your parents, they saw, what other people thought it could have been a concern, but they turned it into something really beautiful, into something really good, and here we are now. How many books have you published, Isabel?
So far only 2.
Only 2.
Yeah.
Yes, and I've enjoyed reading your books. The stories are really, really amazing. Really, really amazing. What would you tell someone who is watching us now and they are navigating on, they are not sure they want to write, or they don't even know how to go about it? What would you tell someone, your age group, the generation of your generation now? What would you tell them? Because I always believe each one of us has a story, and it doesn't always have to be, from bad things have happened, or everybody has a story. It could be maybe sharing about your work experiences, the lessons you've learned. It's not always having to be something negative or something terrible must have happened that, you want to share with others, but it could also be something, something really just good. What would you tell your peers?
Yeah. Well, usually I like to tell people that they should read more often, expand their vocabulary and more imagination, stuff like that. But if you really want to truly write and know how to write, like you don't need any form of classes or anything. Just look into yourself.
Mm.
Because when you write a story, you know very well that there's someone out there who's ready to read your story. And so if you want to write a story, just think, what are the things that you want other people to know? Or what other things you want other people to feel about the things that you've written down. Because I do take my general story inspiration from books, movies, and stuff like that. But when it comes to writing, when it comes to really writing truthfully, I suppose, I try to make sure that I express emotions of my own. And I try to kind of set this as an example for others so that, I would this is kind of a way to show that through writing, you can truly be yourself, and you should take advantage of that kind of opportunity. You should let writing be a way for you to show the world who you are.
Yeah, that's so beautiful, Isabel. I also believe that, when we share our stories, it liberates us. We learn, we get more, we get wisdom as we navigate this journey. But also, I still believe that it gives others the permission to own their own stories. So thank you so much for sharing about why it's important to tell our stories, because otherwise they lose power. And, everybody has a story. I still want us to talk about, you are in this space. You're a speaker, you're an author, you're supporting foundations back in the Philippines, you live in Dubai. How has, your friends been impacted with the things that you do, not just in the Philippines, but also here? And how has been the relationship with your friends been? I'm asking this because in one of the panel we did together in the event, we talked about, you mentioned something about peer pressure, and that younger people sometimes they feel the pressure to, I want you to talk a little bit, Isabel, about that, because I still remember when you said those words. And when we look at the seasons we are living in, the world we are living now with social media, there is just so much pressure, with the young ones, with you, with your generation, and all the way to 21, this, even to adults, sometimes you find yourself like, am I doing enough? Am I doing this? And all that. How has been your experience with your friends, generally, with all these things of social media and all that?
Well, when it comes to me, along with my friends, I know that, there are some things that you have to learn to adapt to if you want to, to kind of get along with your friends. But you kind of always have to remember, even if you want to adapt to certain things to make friends, that doesn't mean you have to lose yourself in the process. Because remember, people want to be friends with you, not with a creation that society has made. They want to know you. They want to know who you are and what makes you special, what makes you a great friend, not the kind of thing, not the kind of perfect friend you found on social media, right? Because to be honest, even though it doesn't look like this all the time through social media, nobody is perfect, right? If everyone has strengths and everyone has weaknesses of their own. And as soon as people start, even including my friends, as soon as we start to learn to embrace embrace the whole of ourselves, that's when we truly do become friends. We learn how to connect. We learn because we're connecting with real people. You get what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, Isabel, because it's important you say that we become whole with ourselves. And I also believe that when our friendship, it's it shouldn't be quoted, or it just has to be genuine and authentic and all that, without feeling pressure, without feeling like, oh, I have to be this so that I can be accepted, or so that's a very important point you have made, Isabel. What would you want to tell someone who maybe they don't feel appreciated, loved, they just don't feel like, I am not just good enough? What would you tell your peers, those who they are struggling?
Well, if there's I know that there could be people out there who are in some way struggling with these kinds of issues, and to any of them listening right now, I just want you guys to know that you are amazing in your own way, okay? Amazing doesn't refer to the kind of definitions you find on those other people in social media, in society. Society doesn't define who you are, okay? You don't have to listen to the opinions of anybody else. You are you. You have to be proud of who you are. Mm-hmm. Because it's when you finally become yourself that you are awesome, okay? Because you are true to yourself and you are amazing in your own little way, okay? Everyone is different. Everyone is like snowflakes. Nobody's the same. Mm-hmm. And once you learn to accept that you are you and they are them, then you get to feel a little more freedom in life, and you get to feel more that you appreciate yourself because you are real with yourself, and you get to love yourself a little more. I want you guys to remember that you are amazing and you deserve the love that you should be treating yourself with. Yeah.
That is so powerful, not just to your peers, but to everybody, because we have to love us. We have to love ourselves regardless, and when you find it harder, as what Isabel says, to feel that, just look at yourself within. And if you need help, you can always reach out to me. I'm always available, to work with you in any journey. If you, as Isabel says, if you're struggling with anything, but above all, love covers magnitude of everything. Thank you so much, Belle, for sharing that. What would you tell parents, those who they see their children's, you see the way your parents have guided you, right? Is they, even if they were told like, okay, maybe she needs a little bit of support, but your mother genuinely saw something that was unique and different in you, and they both guided you. That's how you could manage to write, and you also mentioned something that everything that God blesses you, you want to bless another person. Isabel, for your age, it's so rare, because nowadays people, sometimes it's me, myself and I. You know what I mean? It's like there is scarcity, but really we've been told, God has really told us that there is enough abundance. And I love what you say, that whatever little God has blessed you, you want to be a blessing to another person, right? I want you to talk to us parents, including me, because I'm a mother myself, I'm a parent. Those who they see their kids, they have something that your parents, they noticed, and they haven't noticed that, or maybe they think it's an issue, because your parents, they turned what was seen as you couldn't concentrate, and they turned it for something beautiful. How could you tell us so that we can be in tune with our children?
Well, as a child, I just want to let these parents know that your kid is different, and being different is not a problem. Being different is amazing. You know, these differences make us who we are, right? And if your child has their own differences, it's okay. In fact, as a parent, you should I believe that you should know how to let turn these differences into something amazing, you know, something that could really improve the future that your child has in front of you. No, I just heard of this quote a few days ago. Being unique doesn't make you it doesn't alienate you. Being unique just means you stand out, and you stand out in a way that you are special, a good kind of special. And you know, yeah, it just makes you who you are, right? And parents, as a parent, you should be able to value that about your kid. Use it as a way for them to live their best life, and if you will, use that as a way for them to be a blessing to others as well, so that these kids will know that it's okay for them to be different. And you know, the message could kind of pass on that it's okay to be different so long as you are who you are.
Amen to that, Isabel, because you know what? God has created all of us uniquely different, and nobody lacks anything, because when God created, he said it was done and it was beautiful, and he created us like his own likeness. Thank you so much for tapping into that, Isabel. Where can we buy your books? Where can people get your books? I've already got your book, but where can others get copy of your books?
Well, these actually I managed to have my books published on Amazon. But if you would like, say, a cheaper version of the books, you could contact my parents through their Facebook or through their number 056-174-2353. And you know, you could get a cheaper copy, a more or less cheaper copy, because in Amazon you have the import fees and everything, right? So you can get a cheaper copy, and you could, if you like, you can also get a dedication from me. I'll write a little message for you and sign the book. Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Yes, okay. Thank you so much. We'll have your parents' social media handles below. So for those who they want to get contacts to get a copy for Isabel's books, the contacts are below this conversation. Isabel, what will be your takeaway for someone who is watching us today?
Like, what do I want them to take away from this kind of conversation?
From this conversation.
Well, I think I'll just bring this all down to three simple things. First, accept that you are different. You are different. That is amazing. You are awesome in your own way. Number two, learn to give back. Like I said, and I will continue saying this, giving back is a message to the universe that you are grateful for everything that you have received so far, every little and great blessing. And number three, follow your passion. It was through my passion that I managed to, in my own little way, impact these lives, and I am proud of that. So follow your passion, and use this passion to be impactful in the world. Leave a footprint in this world, and leave a name that people could remember you by.
I love that. I love that. Leave a footprint in this world, because we are not going to be here forever, Isabel. That is so true. And we have been created for a purpose, things that they will give God the glory. I love that. And I love also what you say, that when you give, you are sending the message to the universe. I always say, you don't get poor by giving. You don't get poor by giving. That is so true. Now, with the foundation, right? If someone would like to donate, what are the needs for the children, for the children that you're supporting? What are their needs, and how can people support the foundation?
Well, I think the needs are up to the Friends of Kids with Cancer Foundation. We could provide like the necessities, perhaps even funds for the medicine for these kids, and the kind of things that will help these kids stay alive, if not at least spend a little bit more time with their family, right? And as for how you can support, well, I guess the simplest way is through buying my book, because whenever you hopefully buy my book, go through my story, but like while you're reading that story, these funds are going to these foundations, and while you read, you're helping kids along the way, right?
Thank you so much, Isabel. Well, we've all heard it. She's young and she has a heart for humanity. I really believe that, and I said this to you and to your parents, Isabel, that God has created you for a purpose, for such a time as this, for your generation, the generation that God has called you for. I believe that, and I pray, I really, really pray that may God continue to bless you, to use you, to expand your territory so that you can continue to tap more lives. And also, may He bless you because you have been a blessing to so many other children. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'm just so blessed that our paths have connected. But before I forget, actually, before we end up our conversation, what is the title of your books? Because you didn't mention that.
Oh, okay.
Do you have a copy? You can show it on the...
Yeah. I mean, all the copies are up here, but if you want kind of a close-up, this is my first two books are called the Alex Hades series. This is the first one, Alex Hades and the Legend of the Dark Prince. And the second one, a little bigger, Alex Hades and the Sister of Paradigm. Basically, these two are part of one series.
Yay! You've seen it. We're gonna also have the cover on this conversation. So grab a copy, because every time Isabel sells a book, part of that money goes back to the Philippines to support the children who they need support as they battle, with cancer. So please let us support her. It's not just for her, it's also for the community and those younger ones who they are really, really in need also of our help. Yes. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much.
For sharing, for being open, for being vulnerable, for just being real, for just being you, Isabel. I love you so much. Thank you so much. And for you, my viewers, you've heard from Isabel. Whatever it is, yeah, you are just enough. She's young and wise. She's telling you, you are just enough. Nothing is missing. You are just perfect. And whatever God has blessed you with, be a blessing to another person. You are sending the message to the universe. That's what you said, Isabel, right?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes. And yeah, we've done this conversation, and I really believe that it's gonna encourage you as you watch Isabel and I, as you listen, even for those who will stumble this conversation, that they will be inspired and encouraged to stand in their own power. And until then, stay safe, of course, and I will see you guys soon with another inspiring conversation, just like this one. Bye for now, and we'll see you
Thank
guys
you very much.
soon.